It's live.
Well, similar.
It says it's live with the Gordox Club.
No.
Was it there?
See if I. It's my connection. I'm just being slow.
All right. Well,
Like
we've got another nor'easter predicted for Wednesday. So we may not have power next Thursday.
Fun.
Now you are looking slow. It looks like you're freezing up.
Huh.
One or the other of us have been messing up the last couple of weeks, right?
I know. I'm shutting things down.
You're shutting things down.
Yeah, just trying to get rid of anything that might be taking up. Not a whole lot I can do. Oh,
that's so weird. Like I couldn't hear anything you said. It was like skipping. I don't know if it's clearer in the video, but it wasn't clear for me.
Sorry.
What's that?
I'll be right back. I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna leave the studio. I might have to type this in. I'm gonna leave the studio and reset my computer, and I'll be back.
All right. I'll see you in a minute.
Okay, I think that's working a heck of a lot better.
It sounds a lot better.
Yeah. Just reset her.
So I was debating on whether I wanted to make this a cover or if I was going to make it a pinup. So I'm kind of decided that it's going to be a pinup.
Cool.
Because if it was a cover, the title would have to go over here.
Yeah. You are familiar with Martin Shoemaker, right?
Yeah, we've discussed him a few times.
I thought so. He had posted something in the Writers of the Future forum.
No.
Well, yeah. But
stop right there.
Well, I had posted this article about this girl who got nearly kicked out of college because she used Grammarly. That's her side of the story. I'm still not convinced on that, but
right. Right.
Well, it sounds to me like, I don't know. It just.
Well, I said that's the headline, right? It's not.
Well, I mean, I read the article.
True.
That's what she says, and the school disagrees, and.
Well, of course, the school didn't disagree.
Yeah, but my experience with that stuff, it doesn't quite add up. But anyways, because I asked, I was like, am I going to get in trouble? Like, is my story going to be kicked every time? Because, yeah, I would a lot of times write on writeordie.com, awesome website, by the way. But writeordie.com, when you type on that, it only puts it in straight quotes, and most publications want smart quotes.
That's so weird because with everything I've seen, you're not supposed to use smart quotes. You're supposed to turn them off.
Oh, I've seen they want, because the smart quotes are the curly quotes.
Yeah,
but the straight quotes.
Bill Shun, his website used to say you turn them off. When you turn off the thing that makes the M dashes too, so that there's two hyphens instead of an M dash.
No, I just put an M dash in.
I'm just telling you what it's supposed to be. The format's supposed to be like that, the traditional format anyway. So I just thought it was odd that you were saying that, because like all the publications that I've done, like I've had to go back and remove any smart quotes.
Well, here's a little tip for you. Grammarly is actually a really good tool for switching those, like quickly. So normally it goes from write or die, then I copy and paste that into Grammarly, and then let it fix my quotes, and I'll let it go through the grammar and see if there's something I want to mess with. And then, I put it into a Google Doc. So I was worried about doing that. And one of the things that Martin Shoemaker said was he said not necessarily for me. He said just in general, he doesn't think you should use Grammarly, which I thought was kind of weird. Because I just like it as part of my proofreading routine, but I'm also not relying on it. Like I ignore a good hunk of everything it says, because it's like, no, not really. No, that's what I wanted. Yep, that's like I trust me, but occasionally it'll spot two spaces when I should only have one, or that kind of thing. Like it's a better proofreader than Google has or Microsoft Word has, in my opinion. But I didn't want to get into an argument with them on the forum. I didn't want to really get into an argument with them at all. I just wanted to know why he thought that, and I was a little worried if I asked him on the forum, it would look like I was challenging that. So,
yeah, I don't think he's the guy that feels like you're challenging him.
well, just whatever. I messaged him on Facebook.
There are two people there. One that likes to be considered a mentor,
A guru.
yeah, and the other one is a person who identifies as something other than how they were born.
Uh,
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't. On there, I'm not worried about it.
It's another winner. They actually, those two argue quite a bit.
Well, that's kind of funny. Well, anyway, Martin emailed me back or messaged me back on Facebook. Very detailed explanation.
I might be getting this name wrong.
I don't know.
Actually, I think their first name is initials.
Oh, okay. All right.
Their icon is a cloaked figure.
All right. But I'm just saying, Martin gave me a very good rundown on it. And based on what he said, I have no problem using Grammarly. Basically, what he was saying was, like, if you need Grammarly because you don't know any grammar, maybe you should learn grammar. Also, you don't want to lose.
Did you tell him to teach grammar?
No, I didn't. But it was also, I was like, some of your imperfections in rhetorical choices are your rhetorical choices, and that's your voice, and Grammarly will try to get rid of that, which I also knew, which is why I also don't listen to most of what's on Grammarly. Like, I ignore a huge chunk of everything that Grammarly tells me, and I don't mind. Like, I know what to use it for. Like, I know how to use it. I mean, I'm using a tool the way I want to use the tool. And I don't think he would find anything wrong with that. But as a general rule, I agree with him. There are a lot of you need to be secure in your own writing ability, I think, before you should use a tool like that.
Okay.
Well, I've got students who will blindly accept anything the computer tells them. Oh, okay. And
yeah, it's easier.
Yeah. But I've already, I've got the experience and done the work. So when the computer tells me something, it's like, that's just dumb. Like, I know to question it. I don't know. But that comes from experience.
That's it. I mean, you know to question it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is the key right there, I think.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, my son asked to go to this Mexican restaurant in town for dinner. And we haven't gone there in a long time because once we all got food poisoning after eating there. And, I mean, it was horrific. But he wanted to go back. I was like, all right, fine, we'll go back. But if you see me running away, you'll know. It was the Mexican food.
Ah, so it was like that dysentery joke.
Yes.
Hit a little close to home, did it?
A little bit.
Well,
my son was like, he's like, it's spring break. We got days to recover. And I was like, okay, true, but
that's a theory.
It's not exactly how I wanted to spend them.
We have days to get over this. We can sit in the house for a while and poop.
Take turns.
Only one bathroom?
Yes.
That's a detractor.
What was worse was, God, we were human sprinklers. It was coming out both sides. Oh, it was terrible. When you have to hold a bucket while you're, crapping yourself. Hey, welcome to whoever is the new viewer to the Gordox Club. Oh, they lasted very long. Oh. We had one viewer, then two viewers, and now we're back down to one.
Poop jokes never get old. They never, they never outgrow them.
They're always ripe. Oh, goodness.
You'd have thought that they'd have stayed around for the poop jokes.
You'd think. But no.
Maybe it hit too close to home.
They were suggestible.
Maybe they had Mexican also.
Yeah, who knows? Ah. Ugh.
So I was thinking,
Uh-oh.
the Serape. We'll
Yeah.
save the extra dad joke for later. Uh, what if it was literally like a cloaking device?
Okay.
Like, I mean, you know what I mean by cloaking device, but
Yeah, I do.
um, my thinking was Moon Knight's cape and his uniform really aren't supposed to be white. They just represented it as white. They're supposed to be silver. And if you're in a dark alley and you cover yourself up with purely mirrored stuff, you pretty much disappear into your surroundings. Like unless or until they get close to you, right? Or
Yeah.
shine a light on you or something like that. But so I got to thinking, what if it was like a cloaking device where he can, close himself around, and it's a cloaking device as long as he holds. It's a cloak, as long as he holds still. It mimics his surroundings, like it's a perfect camouflage. But once he starts moving, then it has problems keeping up.
Okay.
What do you think?
Sounds fine to me.
Yeah, it wasn't like I wasn't looking for an opinion or anything. Just saying.
I don't know what else you want me to tell you.
No,
I approve.
There we go. That's I guess what I wanted. Your approval.
Okay, well you have it.
What are you making, Dad?
I'm making a comic cover. What do you think? What is the comic?
Yeah.
What is the comic? What's the name of the
Shadow
comic?
Faction.
Shadow Faction.
I don't see that.
Well, that's because we're making it for the first time. Are you drinking my distilled water?
No, Mom.
That's mine. That's mine distilled water. Hold on, bud. Hold on. Mute first.
It's never good when your parents have to mute.
Yeah. So he's saying that there's a birthday party at Caitlin's house.
Oh yeah?
Her birthday is coming up. And I don't know if that's factual. But I don't want to disparage him,
Right.
Yeah, so I actually kind of envisioned the rest of this poster idea as him, as you can see. Can you see?
Yeah.
It looks really light to me when I look over, but I don't have it like full screen, so.
Well, I have it both.
Like on her transport, like coming out of the shadows of her transport.
Okay.
So like he's waiting on the transport for her to stop. Now, I don't know, and you're going to have to figure this out to reveal within 3 pages how he knows that she's there and has what she has. I suppose, there could be like a tracker inside the thing that she acquired.
Okay.
possible. I'm just trying to think on my feet also, right? Because as you said, you've got your quarterly coming up.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to take away from that, but as I get started doing this, I'm going to want more and more to actually get going.
Well, hold on. Let me check something. It's kind of funny that you. One of the things I closed was a file which has been open for days and days and days and days. And yep, there it is. That's weird.
Field trip plan.
Oh, really? Tomorrow? That should be fun.
Get us started 4 p.m. Going by weekend. All weekend.
Wow.
Mom, power me.
Mm-hmm.
She do it into my shed.
Mm-hmm. Kind of love the references. Damn it. I get in this habit of doing the wrong thing, and then it's like over and over and over again. I'm like, wait a minute, why did I click on that?
No weekend.
So for everybody else out there, I got a late start on this, so I'm not as well prepared as I should be.
Bad, Rich.
Well, you know.
It's all right. Stream started on time. Everything was good. Sometimes you got to look for reference material, though. So I get what you're doing.
Sometimes. It's not the looking for, it's the actual procurement.
Ah.
So because I don't want to try to keep going back and forth from window to window. And I want the reference for maybe afterwards sometime. I have to. There we go. I have to download it in one format and then transfer it to a different format, which basically makes a copy of it, so that I can have it on my desktop, so that I can. Open it up with my regular program. This is all for you, Brett. This is your fucking charade. Sarap? How the hell do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce it?
Serape?
I don't think I've ever looked up the pronunciation, so
Serape.
just be an ignorant white dude for now. By now, everybody knows I'm an ignorant white dude anyway. There's no surprises there. I made the decision not to put in all the leg muscles unless I have to.
Unless you're compelled.
No. So I find it very much more interesting because, first of all, one of my major influences in comic books is John Buscema. And if you look at John Buscema's work, Conan, or pretty much any of the Avengers or any of that, he only draws the muscles pretty much that are freaking used. You know what I mean? Like, the silhouette of the muscle will be there, but like every little line will be there. These lines won't be there until they're being used.
Hold on a second. My wife is talking to me and I can't hear her. Give me a second. Anyway, sorry.
Sounds like that was important.
It was not.
Huh?
It was not.
Yeah, I was being facetious, but
Yeah.
that's okay. They have the right once in a while, right?
Well, yeah.
They earned it. Like, I don't know, mine earned it. She earned it more often than I ever admit. So, let's see. So there's a huge amount of speculation on the Francis Scott Key Bridge incident.
Yeah.
Crazy amounts, actually. Have any of your own thoughts on it, or you think they're speculating way too much until they find out what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, there are some questions, and they should be forthcoming if they would like to squash all the conspiracy theories. But
It takes some time to actually get the answers, though, right?
yeah, I mean that's half the problem. They try to hide stuff and cover their asses, and then it just makes them look worse. And it's like, God, just treat the American populace like they're adults. It'd probably be a lot better.
Yeah, right. But then again, yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, do you think that's really going to happen? No.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't care to speculate either, but I do know the power flickered on and off twice. Well, off twice, on one.
Yeah.
And it's hard to imagine that there's not some intent in there, you know?
I don't know.
But, like, well, I'm saying it's hard to imagine. Not that it's not true, or not that it is true, but I can definitely see why people think that there's more to it. That was heavy, Si. How you feeling?
I'm fine. I'm peachy.
Well, I know you were having a hard couple of days ago, a few days ago.
Well, I'm on some stronger meds, so that helps.
Okay, yeah, that's a good thing. But you know, I'm going to be concerned for you. You're my friend.
Thanks.
I'm not going to nag you, but I'm going to ask you how you doing.
Oh, you're fine. Ugh. No, I took fewer breathing treatments today than I have been, so that's good.
Yeah, and you're asthmatic too, right? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Pretty heavy. So then, yeah. More references. In case anybody's wondering what I'm doing. In case anybody ever ends up watching again. Ever.
Well, technically we could edit some of these things down, but
you can for some stuff, you can't for others.
yeah, I know. Like Twitch has to be live, doesn't it?
I don't know if it has to be live, but you can clip, but you can't clip very much out of it. And it only stays for so long. So, how's vacation been going?
It's been great, man.
What are you laughed at?
No, because you're obviously trying to fill the dead air. Spring break's been fantastic. Got to hang out with the boys a lot. Today, one of them had their girlfriend over. She's always a sweetie. It's kind of funny because I came downstairs and they're playing COD. And
they're playing what?
Call of Duty.
Oh.
They're playing Call of Duty and the dog is sitting in the chair next to her. And the way the dog was laying, it looked like she was dabbing. So.
Looks like she was what?
Dabbing, where you do the thing. Kind of like that. That's what she was doing. If you don't know what the dab is, I don't know where you've been.
I just didn't hear you clearly.
No, okay.
And I am old enough for my kids to have had to explain it to me a few years back. And I also think it's kind of stupid.
Well, yeah,
Like
but when your dog's doing it, it's pretty neat.
it's a Count Chocula bow.
I take it you found a reference?
Yeah, good enough reference. You didn't hear me go, oh, duh. The tricky thing about the references is I don't know if there's any right offhand to do what I need to do. And I don't really have time to take a picture of what I need to do. So what I'm trying to do is make this recede, go back into the shadow. So I want to have some loose style mechanics behind because I don't want to run tangents into all this armor that I worked so hard on,
Right.
So I don't want to have too much running into it. Like if it's going across, that's a little bit different, but I want to have a lot in shadows and I want to have him coming out of the shadow. So how much do you draw to put him in shadow? How do you receive what you're gonna, how do you decide what you're gonna receive? And yeah, I've got John Buscema reference, and basically it's just for this part of the leg and this part of the knee, because in the picture that I'm using, it disappears into shadow until it gets to here, and then the foot comes back out of the shadow. But I think, I can just stop, the lines after a certain point. And if anybody ever needs a reference for a muscular body that you're not trying to over detail, John Buscema, he's the guy. I mean, he's the guy if you want to detail it too, but he's the guy that can get it across without having every little line in it. He's such a great artist. I mean, all of my childhood in comics he's touched at one point or another, and his touch has been lasting. It's been something that changed and redefined the comics that I was reading. So, like, even if I didn't realize at the time that it was before my time. Are you all right?
Yeah. I was laughing at you.
I'm just boring you?
No, I was actually laughing about what you were saying, but don't worry about that. My son is out on a date, and so my arm is buzzing like mad because apparently his mom's talking to him. And I'm thinking, I'm so glad that when I was dating, we didn't have cell phones.
Yeah, right?
Ah!
Or the internet.
Yeah, such a beautiful time.
Get in trouble.
Yeah. Just the idea that, oh, hold on, my mom's messaging me. Like, God.
That's funny. Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I really dated all that much, but I didn't want anybody knowing where I was at. If I didn't want anyone knowing where I was at.
Well, yeah, when I was dating, granted, I was in high school and I was dating Rhonda. uh, so I would tell my parents where we were going, but I wasn't, I didn't need to talk to them for the rest of the night. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
Yeah, it's pretty much what it was.
Do you think it would have been different if they had, cell phones and the internet or whatever? Given that you know who your parents are, so I mean,
I don't know.
They would have hunted you down, or do you think that they would have just said, "Eh"?
Probably just would have said, "Eh." Probably would have been more for if there was an emergency or something. But
yeah, there's that.
I remember what prompted my parents to finally get cell phones. And they were pretty big ones at the time. I mean, they're not like 1980s ones. They're like late 90s ones, but they
sliders and
well, it still had an antenna and stuff and was solid and
oh yeah. Okay.
It was pretty big. But my car had died and my father and I had to it died like at a gas station, thankfully. Between Muncie and my house. So it's a 2.5 hour drive or so between Muncie and where my parents lived. So it's about halfway. And my father drove out to get us. And he decided, he's like, well, fire it up. And it ran. He's like, well, let's try to limp it home. And we didn't get that far down when the car died again, and because the alternator was messed up. So I pulled over, and he came up, or he got out of his car, and then I heard him curse. And I look out my mirror, and my dad has obviously locked himself out of his running car.
Oh.
And he had just gotten that car. Because normally he carries a spare key in his wallet, and he hadn't had time to make one yet.
Wow.
And I remember telling my wife, who was just my girlfriend at the time, I was like, whatever you do not laugh. Do not laugh. Nothing is funny. Nothing is funny. For the love of God, don't laugh. So, we managed to get my car running enough to get it back to the gas station, and we call my mom, and she's like, all right, she's like, try to call the cops, see if they'll help out your dad. And she's like watching Law and Order or something. She's like, if you guys don't call me back by the time this episode's over, I'll come down and get you. All right. So we call the cops. They say there's nothing they can do, and all right, whatever. So we're sitting around, and then these cops walk in, and they're like, "Are you guys the ones that called for because you locked your keys out of the car?" I was like, "Yeah, it's actually just down the road. My dad's with it." And one of the cops says, "He's like, I told you that guy hugging his hood needed us," and my father, who, was freezing cold, apparently had been hugging his hood to keep warm because it was the middle of winter.
Oh, that's not cool.
And the cops were like, we'll be right back. And they got my father. And my father gets there, and I'm sitting, my coat's in the chair next to me. Ryan and I both have hot chocolate. We're, he's miserable. it's just one of those ultimate dad moments where you just, uh, because he's in charge and he's responsible at that point, and it's just nothing's working out for him.
But you're glad you have your dad.
Yeah, that's right. It's one of those moments you're just like, oh, I'm glad I have a parent.
Yeah, man. Those are the times you're like,
Yeah.
only a dad would do this. Only a dad would go through this much bullshit.
Yeah. Ugh.
Well, I don't know about the patience factor because I think that would change dad to dad, I guess. But
yeah, well,
yeah.
it was funny because after that we got cell phones because we tried to call my mom back as quickly as possible and she had already left. And so we had to sit there for another like 40 minutes or whatever, 90 minutes. I don't know how long it was, waiting for her to get there so that we could all go home. Just thought it was funny. They're like, all right, we're getting cell phones.
Right. Like that's that whole they earned it thing, right?
Yeah. Well, it was just a perfect cluster all night long. I was like, God, it's just
terrible. That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's an amusing anecdote now. And I knew at the time, I was like, this is going to be funny. But
yeah, it's like that quote. The while you're on, it's never fun while you're on an adventure.
Yeah.
You never enjoy it when you're on the adventure. It's afterwards when you say, "Oh, I did this" or "I did that."
Yeah.
You're half starved, soaking wet in the rain. Alligator comes out of the undergrowth.
Yeah.
Ain't fun then. Later on, you can tell some stories if you don't lose your limbs, but ain't no fun at the moment. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Well, looking at the references from him and at how he did the leg muscles.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's like really cool. I wish I could do both. I could draw and advance this and look at all this stuff, but I'm basically doing studies of the structure. Of course, none of the pictures show, like him coming out at you with one leg and the other leg receding, unless it's just literally all shadow. And I can't do that, because if I did that, then I would have to put something white behind that to contrast it so you get the silhouette.
Mm.
It's the readability of it. Like when you look at it from a distance, you want enough want enough so that you can just look at it and read it right off. And sometimes you sacrifice accuracy for that type of effect. And sometimes it's worth it to give up, the details of the leg or any details of the leg, or the fact that it's completely disappearing into shadow so that you can get some of the shape of the outside of the leg. And John Buscema had a lot of active poses, like a lot of not just action, but active poses. In a way, it almost makes me wish I was drawing a Barbarian comic. Okay. You yawning or something? I can't see you, so.
No, I am not yawning.
Got 3 different reference pictures open.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I got one for the Seraph. Wow, you're breathing really heavy. I can like hear it over the music. You okay?
I'm a fat asthmatic, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I just like you don't. It's not always that I hear it like that. So
Sorry.
no, it's not sorry. I just want to make sure you're all right.
I promise I am peachy.
Okay, because like I half the time I've got a reference open, so I'm not actually looking at this screen.
Oh, I'm just watching you draw.
And then I hear like
Deeply relaxed watching you draw.
well, I hear you breathing out your nose pretty loud, and you were saying that you had like a chest thing going on not that long ago, and
Yep.
you know, I'm like I said, I'm your friend. I'm looking out for you. It could anything I'm thinking could totally be unfounded, but I'm still gonna look out for you because that's who I am.
Fine.
Maybe your mic's just a little loud or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, settings.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I just turned it down a little bit.
All right. Like, yeah, I don't want to stifle you or anything. I'm just like, when I hear that, I'm like a little concerned because I can't see what what's going on.
I'm clutching my chest and, they're
Right.
just popping.
Like, I don't know if you would be, so like it's hard to tell, and that kind of I don't want to be the one to push you over the limit or some shit.
Yeah. You go to sign off, I'm dead. I'm just keeled over. Aw.
Yeah, right. Hey, thanks for being with me, Brett. Brett.
I don't think my wife would approve of that.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think my wife would approve of it. Maybe if it was me, that might be all right. But,
Nah. Hey, I think we'd notice. Like, Rich, why aren't you drawing anything?
well,
Rich.
I think you'd notice when you saw.
Yeah.
That would have been a clue.
A little bit.
People will be all, remember that guy you used to stream with?
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, I don't think this is gonna be a fast process doing this comic book, but we actually get it done before either one of us keel over. It'll be a worthy cause.
Well, part of it, I feel like we're kind of still in the brainstorming stage. We're getting ideas for how things are going to look.
Well, so what I'm thinking is like, this could be a splash page, really. Like, this is enough where you could do the boxes saying who's doing art, who's doing writing, coloring, or whatever. And then there's room for some captions and some hidden parts if you want, but there's, like normally you're not opening up with a splash page or a full page spread or whatever. That's usually you're leading into it, so maybe it'll be 3 or 4 panels, and then the next page will be 3 or 4 or 5. actually anywhere between 3 and a 9 panel grid, and then you'll have like a big splash page because you get the first page is on this side, and then second page is on this side, and then the third page, bang, So you can write it as I draw it. Like you can say, "Oh, I know what dialogue goes on this scene." Like you don't have to go. It needs to be. So, anything that if you're looking at this and you've got ideas popping up, then run with them.
Oh.
If it wasn't so much work, I'd draw a grid on his face. So I think that would be pretty cool, considering it's meant to illustrate that his face can change. Go right back into 80s technology. We'll do like Free Jack.
Oh, that's a callback.
Right? But we'd have to get a better actor. Because Mick Jagger. No, thank you. Notice, like, as I draw this guy over and over and over again, this is like the third incarnation. It's based on the second one, but he's kind of looking like a Templar Knight with a serrate built in. Like it's almost like a coif.
Okay.
I'm just noticing it, like I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying it's strange how that popped right into my head, like, oh, look at this.
No way. Huh. All right, this I gotta put in the private message.
Uh-oh.
You made me think of something. You're and now.
Oh no, I made you think of something? Damn it.
All right, I put the comment on. It's an interesting name. I don't know. Something I will. You were talking about how he kind of looks like a Knights Templar and stuff, so
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of looks like a knight, I guess. And my Templar just popped right in there because Templars wear those tabards. Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's a interesting, fun name. That's something to keep in mind.
Yeah,
Put that in
definitely.
my back pocket.
That actually could be employable with this.
Yeah, it could be.
Should probably take this watercolor off so I don't drop it off the edge and go, shit, all my expensive watercolor just blew by. And then move this over so that this is a little bit more in the center of the camera.
Okay.
That's as low as I can go because the clipboard's so big that it's hitting the camera
Hello.
stand.
Hmm? Done.
Are you tired tonight?
Oh, sort of. I don't know. This is going to sound stupid because it's Thursday, but whatever that wonderful anxiety people get when it's Sunday, that's what I have now.
Oh, you mean because the party's over?
Well, it's Thursday. I mean, tomorrow's my last day of spring break. Of course, then I have the weekend. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it just sets in, And that story, the story I'm working on, like I had first night I messed with it like 1,000 words, no problem. Second night I got pretty close to 1,000 words, and then I worked on it today, and I was like, it's barely 3,000 words now. Like it took so much to get from like the 2,000 to the 3,000 mark.
Do you feel like you have to do 1,000 words of the setting?
No, but it's just one of those things where, I'm trying to get the story done, and and what's going to happen is I'm going to be like, oh, I got plenty of words. I got plenty of words to play with, So I'll check it now when it's around 3,000, and the next time I go and check, and I think I won't have very much done, it'll be like 8,000 words, and I'm like,
when's it due?
Huh?
When's it due?
31st
of this month.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a little late on the gun then.
Well, I thought I had all these days
or
off.
Are you always last minute?
I have a story I can submit. I mean, I don't think it's going to go very far, but I have one. Like I can submit.
Well, what I'm asking is like, do you write better with a looming deadline, or do you?
Yeah, I tend to.
Because I do that too. Like a deadline helps me, but I do like to get it done way ahead of the deadline, so that if I want to rewrite or whatever.
Well,
but
this one's kind of
I just asked because I know I've seen you save 4 or 5 files. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
So I'm like, you're only you're only 3,000 words. How long? How much of the story do you know? How long it's going to be, or?
Well, I'm sure I could give a estimation that's wildly off.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how your process goes like that because, like, I can plan for. It's weird. I can plan for 1,000 words, and I can plan for 10,000 words, or 15,000, or 17,000. But 3,000 to 7,000, I can't at all. I just can't. Like I'm lucky if I land between there. Like if I can write maybe 2,000 words as a 2,000 word story, but if there's a hard limit on 3,000 words or a hard limit on 7,000 words, I'm not in it. I'm not there. So I don't really know But I know other people that they're perfectly comfortable within those limits and can say, "Oh, I can do this in a week, or I can do this in 4 days, or whatever." Uh, and then I know people that have to write 4 different drafts. Like they write a draft every time somebody does a critique, and then they have to have 20 critiques. You know what I mean?
So I ain't like that, but
well, I'm just saying there's this wide variety of methods. There's no right way to write. It's just what your process is.
The reason why I normally end up with several different drafts is because I'll go so far and think I either have written myself into a corner, or I'll see a different way of going that I already think is more interesting, but it requires me to back up a little bit. So I don't like deleting anything. So I'll just make a copy and.
Right, because you might want something from the other draft, or
yeah. I'm definitely a pack rat when it comes to my writing files. That's why some of the stuff, like there's a program on Google Docs called Draftback. It's a really detailed revision history. Like if you have it and you get a document that's from Google, you can generally see like the whole writing process. It's kind of neat. And it'll tell you like how many things you copied and pasted. You can watch the document being made, like in sped up time lapse type thing, and but it's pretty much by keystroke. And I'm always wondering, I'm like, man, I'm taking like from this file and that file and this file, like, I don't know. My stuff looks weird, I think, when I look at it through Draftback.
I don't think I've ever used or maybe even heard of Draftback.
I don't know why you would necessarily need to, but I've needed it for work.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go. There you go. Planning lessons or something?
Yeah, it's just some of this, it's useful. Some of this, I mean, a lot of the stuff, I mean, I learned what I write, from writing, and then I try everything that I learn. Well, not everything, but everything that's pertinent. I try to shift on and tell my students, so they avoid some of the mistakes and things, or understand what they really should be looking for. Or I don't know how much they really pay attention, but
right, that's a key.
Well, I told them about the 3 grunts, for example.
Right.
And
the smart reader.
Well, yeah, but they don't understand. I'm like, no, really, if you want to be a good writer, this is the stuff that you need to pay attention to. But it doesn't fit on a rubric. And that's what they're trained for. And they don't seem to really, they don't see the need to try to be good writing. They just want to fulfill the rubric and be done. So
that's so weird, because they don't. You said that it's an elective class, right?
Well, it is and it's not. It counts as a credit. It's not an elective credit, but you don't have to take AP. Like, you can take an easier English course, so you don't have to take AP. There's no one forcing you to, but you get the top students normally. But they're trained on writing papers for content areas, and so they've never really looked at writing as writing. And that's why they don't get a lot of the shortcuts they take are dumb, and they just they talk out both sides of their mouth. They will say on one hand that they cannot write, but also that they don't need to listen to whatever the writing instructor says because, you don't know my process. And I'm like, you just said your process doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I paid attention to you.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, it's just it's the same stuff every year. It's kind of what teaching is. Okay, controversial topic time.
Oh. That means half of our viewership's gonna quit.
Well,
just kidding. I mean, you know how I feel about that. Eventually, people that value our information will find their way here.
Yeah. Twizzler or Red Vine?
What?
Twizzlers or Red Vines?
Well, I'm not a fan of Twizzlers, and I don't really know what the other one is.
It's a competitor.
Okay. Well,
some people have a very distinct feeling about these things.
Okay. Well, it's not a controversial topic for me because I know what a Twizzler is, but I just don't really. I never much cared for them.
Have you ever had the pull and peel Twizzlers?
Probably not. But
they are so much better.
It really doesn't matter. And what I'm saying is like the whole Twizzler thing was never a thing for me. They really amounted to a commercial. I wouldn't spend my money on those. If I was gonna pay for sugary snacks, it's like would be Snickers or something like that. Kit Kats. Other stuff that'll kill you. I've never really been into like goldfish and, well, not goldfish, Swedish fish or any of that stuff. Gummies.
You're missing out. It's all right.
Just not for me.
Yep.
More for you guys.
My younger son told me that the Phantom Menace is going to be back in theaters like in May. Which,
ooh,
well, I'll still watch that one on a big screen.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Well, my children, I don't think have ever seen it on a big screen. That's the thing.
I bought into that going to watch the re-release of the original trilogy on the big screen.
Yeah.
And what they did was they added parts without the original actors' voices, which were obvious, that were unnecessary. Like you had to have some white dude trying to imitate James Earl Jones and say, "Prepare my shuttle." He had to say, "Prepare my shuttle" as he's walking across Cloud City. And I know they had to erase the Ben Kenobi speech about knowing Luke's father, since he was already a hero pilot or whatever when I first met him. They had to erase that because they changed it, but yeah, I was expecting it to be a bigger deal, or at least, I don't know, not just changing special effects and adding one scene in here or one scene in there, like they did the whole Jabba the Hutt scene, because the original Jabba the Hutt was a dude, like a guy with a furry vest on.
Yeah. Well,
when they changed it, I didn't think that was a necessary scene. They did fine without it.
I wasn't cognizant when the first Star Wars film was released. I was alive, but just barely.
Yeah, I was 6.
So
you can imagine what Star Wars was to a 6-year-old.
Well, I'm saying, so like I never got to see the original one in theaters until it got re-released. Like I had seen it because I had it on VHS and stuff, but I'd never seen it.
But you really didn't get to see the original one.
Well, that's true.
You got to see what they did to the original one.
But I've seen the original one. I mean, I have seen it.
Yeah.
So the experience of it being on a big screen, that was really the draw for me. I mean, I've seen all the other ones on a big screen. Like I saw the original Empire Strikes Back. That was my first movie.
Yeah, that's interesting because it was either that or Ghostbusters, which they came out the same year. It was one of those two that was my first. But like I said, when I was a kid, I used to go see 2 movies every weekend. So
yeah,
my first movie in the theater,
Ghostbusters came out in '84, man. And yeah, Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980, 4 years before Ghostbusters.
What?
Yeah.
No, there was another one then. Because I looked it up one time.
Nope. And Return of the Jedi was out by '83.
It was Empire Strikes Back was 80?
Yeah.
Return
of the Jedi was '83.
That doesn't sound right. Like I saw it in the theater, but yeah, May 24. Well, I may not have seen it. I actually may not have seen it when it was released. I might have seen it in '81.
Right. I don't know, but.
Well, now I need to know what else there was, because is it the Muppet movie?
Oh, goodness.
Just trying to figure it out.
Movies from 1984.
There was a couple of them that I saw. No. That is not what I said. That's what I said.
If it's with... are you sure this is a Star Wars film versus the Ghostbusters? I mean, I just want to know for which one I should be looking.
It was Empire Strikes Back. I thought it was Ghostbusters, but I know was Empire Strikes Back that time period, that year. I saw a few things that year. I just don't know.
Uh,
There was another one that Smokey and the Bandit 2 was in theaters, but that wasn't
goodness.
it.
I missed all of those. I just never got into them.
Popeye, I saw that in theaters.
I saw that in theaters.
Robin Williams. Huh?
I saw that in theaters too.
Yep. Nine to 5, I saw that in theaters.
Never saw that in theaters. Like, I'm looking at this list, and the ones that I've seen in theaters.
I didn't see Caddyshack in theaters.
Neither did I.
Or the Blues Brothers. I saw them, but not in theaters. Action movies, maybe. Let's see.
The Forbidden Zone.
Any Which Way You Can. The Hunter with Steve McQueen. I watched a lot of movies in theaters, but I was sure, like it was. Wow. I was pretty sure that was. Let's see, sci-fi movies. Superman 2. Saw that in theaters.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw that in theaters. Oh well.
Huh. That's really weird.
Well, it could also be one of those things where, you could have had a re. I mean, they played Star Wars films for a long time.
Yeah, but I saw that when it came out. I saw that when it came out because my aunt took me, and he really was the one that introduced me to all fantasy and all that stuff. I was watching Fire and Ice and The Last Unicorn and the animated versions of The Hobbit and all that stuff at her house. So she took me to that stuff. So
that's cool.
I'm looking to see maybe if there was another comedy that came out.
Airplane?
So weird. Yeah, Popeye was, but they're not, like, the lists are not showing comedies, and usually, there's the comedy section. Like, usually that pops right up. Stir Crazy. I didn't see that in theaters, but I saw it. The Fog's not a comedy. Friday the 13th's not a comedy.
Oh, it's funny.
You ever read the book to Friday the 13th?
No.
There's a reason that Jason came back.
Okay.
It's a speculative reason too. So, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Friday the 13th. Jason's mom is taking revenge on all the counselors that allowed her kid to drown.
Right.
Her kid was a special needs kid. Jason was a special needs kid. But he had a psychic link with his mom. So when he drowned, his mom felt that through the psychic link. And at the end, when they cut her head off, it brought him back through the psychic link. Don't you feel richer for knowing that?
Sure.
They're talking about remaking Crow.
Yeah, I think I've seen something about that.
Somebody said that they were going to make it so that the original prince and princess that became king and queen, Colin and Lissa, are going to be the parents of the people that are in this movie. So it's not a remake, it's a
Sequel?
very much later sequel. But honestly, if they get the people that really played them,
yeah,
they would be old enough to be believable. As, parents of adults that are getting married.
But I wouldn't object to that. I mean, if you...
Well, just on the surface, but I don't know what the plans are for the plot. Or...
Well, the movie's plot was a little
the beast is defeated, so...
I mean... I've always kind of thought that movie could have probably been written better, and it's got cool stuff. I enjoyed it, but I was like, this could
have been written better.
Yeah.
But it was good enough to wake up my imagination and make me remember it all these years later. I wouldn't say it's a good movie, but it was good enough. It was good enough in book form for me to read the UI and for him to remember the character's name, which is a feat in itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I was kind of really disappointed in reading the book because I expected the book to give us something that the movie didn't, and it really didn't give it much. Although I did learn what the whole point of the monster kidnapping Lissa was in the first place. And it wasn't because he was in love with her, which a lot of people were confused into thinking. I told you what it was, didn't I?
No. What was it?
Do you remember the marriage ceremony?
Yeah.
He passed her the flame and she was supposed to pass it back. Or she passed him the flame and he was supposed to pass it back.
Okay.
And the marriage was interrupted before then. Okay. But if he would have passed that magic flame back to her, she would have been pretty much undefeatable because of that magic flame. So it was the bad guy taking out the ultimate weapon against him.
Oh.
But they never explained it in the movie.
Because it's not very well written.
Yeah, that's where we were at the start of that, right?
Or it might have been, who knows, but then some producer said, trim 10 minutes off or something.
Yeah, just the most important 10 minutes.
Yeah, but sometimes, they say you got to trim 10 minutes off. Well, they used to quite a bit. They would say things like that. No matter what it was, trim 10 minutes.
So, I don't know if the power is going to be out for next Thursday. And I don't know if I warned everybody else. I know I said something to you, but Anyone else that's watching, if you didn't catch it or if I didn't say it, there may not be a show Thursday. Because Wednesday we're supposed to get another nor'easter, and the last one knocked our power out.
When you get a chance, I put something in the private chat for you.
For me?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking how you're the only other person that's part of the chat. Yeah.
I think that's probably doable.
Okay.
Like, well, what else, right? I mean, it's doable. I don't think anybody's even watching anyway. So. They might be like last time when we ended. Every time we end the stream, I go and check, and sometimes there are more people that have been watching or are watching than I thought. But
yeah, I don't know what. I mean, whatever. It's kind of hard to get good analytics real time, I suppose.
it is like I have to wait till after the stream to get any from Twitch at all. Anyway, I get some from YouTube. I don't know how good they are either.
What? Somebody's being a lazy bum.
Somebody?
Yeah, I messaged one of my children to bring me a snack and a drink.
Oh.
And I messaged him directly. And then he put it in the group chat so he wouldn't have to.
So call him out in the group chat. I asked you.
Nah, I don't care. As long as I get my cheesecake and my beverage, I'll be okay.
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
I like cheesecake too. Dairy Queen has got a cheesecake right now.
Oh yeah?
Cheesecake Blizzard.
Yeah.
Excellent. So this arm is proportionately too long. I've been looking at it for a little bit and thinking, what the hell is wrong with it?
Extendo arm.
It's too long. Well, again, you can do that for dramatis, but that's a artistic license, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if it fits with what I'm trying to do. overall. So, wife is sick again, huh?
Well,
Or she's still sick.
she's got this infected lipoma thing or something. I don't know. Thank you. So that's why she's on antibiotics, and she never agrees well. Like, antibiotics are not her friend.
Ah,
So she hates being on them. Doesn't tolerate them well.
hey, that's enough reason to not want to be on them.
Yeah. But I mean, she needs them, so it's one of those things where it's like,
Yeah, that doesn't mean that you want to.
right. But I think that temperature is because of the antibiotics, nothing else.
Ah,
I mean, it could be the infection. I don't know. It could be both.
yeah, it could be an infection. Whatever.
So cute. Too bad you're the devil.
Uh-oh, hold on. Come on.
No midnight tonight, man.
My wife was talking to the cat.
Oh, I thought she was just asking us to be on until midnight.
No. She said, "You're cute, but you're the devil," so must be the cat,
Oh,
because I'm not the devil. But I'm cute. I don't think she agrees.
oh, cute. I think I'm gonna have to leave that hand and either find a reference for it off screen, or gonna have to wait.
Well,
As much as I'm enjoying actually getting some composition done, and it gives me an idea for a light source for her.
okay.
Well, you remember I was talking that I didn't want to commit too much with her until I knew where the light source was going to be hitting, so that
Right.
I could see how it was shining on the chitinous pieces.
Right.
Well, this actually, I didn't plan this. It just started happening while I was going. So I kind of got a light source coming this way. He's
Oh.
gonna fade out. So there's gonna be some shadow in here anyway. Only parts of his arm is gonna stick out because of it. But because I know that, then I know I can plan her light source out a little bit. And let's go back to... So, have you seen the pictures of Clancy Brown from Highlander that have been going around on Facebook lately?
No.
So there's a scene that it was like basically a training scene for Clancy Brown, and the stunt coordinator is playing the guy he's killing to get the quickening or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's like 3 pictures, but they cut the scene from the movie so that all that exists left of this scene are these 3 pictures.
Okay.
Here, I'll see if I can share them. Present. Yeah, okay. Cool. Now I learned a new trick.
Ooh. Okay, what'd you learn?
All right.
Okay.
So that's one. Now, the reason that I grabbed these is the this is body position. You know what I mean? So it's a model. Somebody that's swinging a sword, somebody that's defending with a sword. You don't have to draw those particular bodies, but you can see how the legs are. You can see how the arms are. You know how the swords are connecting. And obviously, Clancy Brown and him are different sizes.
Yep.
There's 3 pictures, so bear with me.
Okay.
So if you want to share something picture-wise,
Yeah.
and it's something that you have on your computer instead of in a different tab,
Yeah.
when you hit the share screen, see there's a different picture, different position, swords.
Right.
Like how that arm's cocked back. So if you want to share something that's like that, you go to, we have to have that application open. Like this is Windows photo,
Whatever it is.
yeah. When you go to select, at the top there's the browser tab, and then there's a choice for application window or your entire screen. I've been using, obviously, the application window.
Okay.
think it's pretty cool. Like, it's not the greatest lighting, but it's good enough lighting. This is dramatic lighting. It's lit from behind and ambient light. But the body position of Clancy Brown about ready to bring that sword down, right?
Right.
Of course, you can tell he's standing a bit back from him. Like a body length or so, because you can see on the bottom between his knee and Clancy Brown's foot, there's a white passage.
Right.
Yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. What? Oh, I never saw that before. Ironically, I was actually that's in my on my desktop, and the picture that I saved for a reference I saved to my desktop. So I was supposed to be looking at my references, and I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, you might be interested in that." I was interested to see it, and then like I've got like this net cast from my brain for reference photos. And those sword fighting photos or whatever, that's pure gold, because you're not really going to see that often. Like you might see scrimmages at the SCAA or whatever it is, and at Renaissance fairs or that type of thing, but that's not all that often. And generally, when you're looking for a reference for a sword fight, they're never going to be right there doing it, you know. So either you take pictures every chance you get, or you cast your net wide. I saw that come across Facebook, and I clicked past it, and then like the next day I was like, if I see that again, I'm grabbing it. I saw it again, so obviously I saw it again. I grabbed it. That was what I was doing.
Okay.
And the serape. I'm gonna look that shit up so that I pronounce it correctly. Not that I don't trust you, it's just I have to wrap my brain around it. Because, you know, and I find that happens a lot. People that read, and they read widely, unless they're listening to something that's being pronounced, often mispronounce words. Like caveat, I for years I said caveat because it's spelled, you know, EAT.
I don't know if you can hear that. Let's see something.
What? What?
I don't know if you heard that at all.
No, I don't hear anything.
I just played Serape off of Merriam-Webster.
Nope, I didn't hear it.
Probably not. I know it's on.
But you know what?
And that's
I can look it up very easily.
it's there. I promise.
You may hear, yeah. It shows it when it says it sounds like it. It says SRAAPEE, so it's Serape. Serape.
Well, I just played the audio.
Did you hear this?
Yeah. Well, I heard you.
No.
I haven't heard anything else.
No, I heard it. So now I'll just try to remember it because I've heard it. Mm. Mm. And when you spot blacks in a comic book normally, instead of coloring everything in like this, you just do X's. That's solid. That's solid. That's solid.
That makes sense.
I guess it depends on the penciler, really, because most of us, a lot of us are tight pencilers, and we like to kind of make that happen on the paper too. You ever watched the movie The Long Riders? That actually, incidentally, came out in the same year as The Empire Strikes Back, because it popped
No,
up
I've
when I
never
was.
seen it. I saw it on the list. And I thought that's a neat title.
I looked at it, literally just watched it like the day before yesterday. Well, yesterday morning. I started watching it the night before last because I was watching the Chuck Dixon's videos. And usually his videos they're pre-recorded, they're question and answer. So he tells you where to mail your questions into, and then he answers your questions on the video, and does like a little picture of whatever he's talking about. But because he's a comic writer, it's like people will ask what his favorite movies are and what his favorite, he's got a couple of books out. Actually, he's got a book that's being produced by Sylvester Stallone, and Jason Statham is going to be starring in it.
Cool.
It's Levon Cade. So his Levon Cade books are like 150 pages, 2 pages, or 200 pages. It's they're really novelettes or novellas, but they're action, so they're really action oriented, plot oriented, not really so much character oriented. and Levon Cage, you're pretty much classic action hero, former ranger that has PTSD but also has a daughter. Or it might be a Green Beret or SEAL or whatever. I don't remember for sure because it's been a little while since I read the book. But what I mean by that is I've read like 4 books since then, 5 books, 6 books since then. So there's a lot of books. A lot of books. All this just so that I can have this headline and this headline. All the rest can fade into black, but the hints of his leg will be in the accurate proportions. Did you watch anything new and interesting over the last couple of days? Huh?
I've been watching The Gentleman. It's the
Yeah,
series.
it's
Yeah, that's about all. But I haven't.
I don't think you've told me what it's about, but
Well, I'm not exactly sure how it connects to the film because I don't
the
know.
film is based on a true story.
I don't think so.
It says it's based on a true story.
The Gentleman is?
I don't know what's the film? Is the film The Gentleman?
Yeah, that came out in 2019, and it's about an American.
Oh, okay, so
who
it's not the one I was thinking of. I thought you were talking about the new
No.
Henry Cavill one.
Yeah. So, in the movie,
That's ungentlemanly, whatever.
yeah, in the movie The Gentleman, Matthew McConaughey is like this marijuana kingpin in England.
Ah.
And he runs his grow operations underground, and the series is more like the people who own the layout where the grow operation is underneath, and it's a crime thing, and it's comedy crime. I mean, it's definitely crime. But there's also humor in it because it's a Guy Ritchie thing, without being like slapstick or anything stupid. It's just, you know things are going to go wrong. Things are, there's always going to be that complication, and whatever. It's just, if you like Guy Ritchie stuff, you'd probably like the series. I've been enjoying it. I just don't like sitting still that long when I have, I got writing to do. So I haven't had I'll watch little bits when I'm eating lunch or something, but it takes me like 3 days to get through an episode.
Yeah, I'm into so much stuff. I don't really watch a lot either. That Long Riders, I started it the night before last and watched most of it yesterday. So what's interesting about the Long Riders is that the Long Riders is Jesse James and Cole Younger and the James Younger gang. But all of the actors that are in it that are playing brothers are brothers. So like Jesse James and Frank James are Stacy Keach. Well, James Keach and Stacy Keach. And then the Youngers are David Carradine, Keith Carradine, and then Robert Carradine. from Revenge of the Nerds.
Okay.
Then there's Randy Quaid and Dennis Quaid. And there's Christopher Guest. You probably know him from Spinal Tap.
Oh yeah.
And his brother, I don't remember what his brother's name is, but they're playing Robert Ford and one of the other Ford brothers, or the other Ford brother. So it was really interesting to see all these actors that are really brothers playing brothers. Like David Carradine was Cole Younger, and I think that of all the David Carradine stuff I've seen, I think that's the best role I've ever seen him in.
Okay.
And ironically, he looks nothing like what Cole Younger did. Cole Younger pretty much was bald on top, male pattern baldness. David Carradine had long hair and a goatee. So I don't know. It was really interesting to see the fact that they're all the people that were supposed to be brothers were brothers. As far as the movie goes, it was like, because it came out in 1980, it's excusable, but it was kind of slow paced. But I don't know if it would have been slow paced in its day, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because it was, it wasn't like there was nothing going on. There were robberies and whatever, but they also had enough, I don't know, next of kinness to it.
Okay.
Where, there are things that are taking place because they're country living and in the South, and there's different principles that they have and live by. I think they tried to fit a little much in the space that they had, but overall, like, if you're used to seeing older movies, then it's a pretty good movie. Stacy Keach only has a few lines, and it's really weird to see him so prominently, but not really speaking. It's like everything I've ever seen him in, he's pretty much a speaking role. Like the first time I saw him was Mike Hammer, and then I saw the Escape from New York and Escape from LA. But he's not in Escape from New York. He's in Escape from LA, right? But in Mike Hammer, he's the narrator, so it's like first person narration, and then he's acting in the scenes. So, and then he's on like American Crime or something like that. He's a narrator for a true crime program. And watch him in this, and I think he's got like 5 lines. He's like Kurt Russell in Soldier. And I don't think I've seen his brother. Like, I've seen him in a few things, and I'm struggling to remember exactly which one that I saw him in where I can picture him. But I picture him almost like a Solomon Kane type of figure. So he must have been in like Warlock, or something like that. But I think he's behind the camera more than he's in front of the camera, or more than he was in front of the camera. You watch it, and you're gonna recognize probably 80 to 90% of the cast. You're gonna recognize just on sight, whether you know their names or not. You're gonna recognize them on sight. The woman playing his mother, the woman playing Cole Younger's love interest, that was Belle. All of them seen in other stuff. Nobody ever tells us if they like the content.
That's true, but I think I'm the only one watching this.
Well, other people do watch because it tells me the numbers of people that watch.
Oh,
And I always tell them, let us know if you like what you're seeing or hearing, or don't like what you're seeing and hearing. But they never do. They never do. Remember, I told you I kind of like the idea of having his face be blank, but kind of looking a little bit like a snowy owl,
yeah.
or whatever that kind of owl is. Same one from Labyrinth. I think that would be freaky to see come out of the shadows.
Yeah.
It's kind of my thinking behind this. Like, I've drawn it all out, but you see I'm starting to shadow it all in too. I have to get the hand right before I can go on with that. Or a pipe that he's grabbing onto or something. But another thing, like I say, I don't know if I've said it to you or on here, but if a character is wearing a suit, you really shouldn't see a bunch of veins through it. You see that with Batman all the time, you know what I mean? They'll draw a Batman with veins sticking all out, but yeah, he's wearing Kevlar and all this other shit. Like, no way. That's not happening. I'm not going to see veins in Kevlar. I know it's dramatic license, but
It'd be better if it made sense, though.
And that's how I feel. That's kind of why I'm doing this the way I'm doing it, is I want to get the feel for it being a suit, because really, again, his body is kind of like her body, right? Not exactly like it necessarily, but kind of. I mean, it's definitely not exactly like it because it's not plates or whatever, but he is definitely augmented.
Yeah.
I gotta erase that part, even though I loved it. No, I'm not looking at a reference, and I probably should be. Give me a heads up when we get near time,
Oh,
because I'm definitely not looking at the clock.
it's 10:43. Still got 17 minutes, man. Ah.
We haven't really talked color yet either.
I didn't know if we were going to do color.
Well, that's an interesting prospect.
Well, I literally didn't know.
I guess we don't have to do color.
Well, I mean that's a you decision.
It's not. It's a us decision because if we're gonna color it, chances are either I guess it would be a me decision if I was painting them. I suppose I could do that, but I probably wouldn't be drawing it out on Bristol board if I was gonna paint them.
So,
But like if we were gonna have a colorist do it, we would have to hire one, and that would be a joint venture because we would be making a profit off this comic, right?
that would be the hope.
Well, I'm saying it would be you and me making the profit off the comic. So if you hire a colorist, you don't want to put a third party in for the taxes and division of whatever's and whatever. You just want to keep it limited to the smallest amount of people that you can have on that venture. So anyone else that you have, if you're doing a letterer or whatever, you're hiring them. You could probably do it digitally.
That's what I was thinking. Like lettering, I think I would do digitally.
Well, I can, like in CSP, there are tools built for doing uh, dialogue boxes and uh, even making tails that you can turn to aim towards the character they're talking if they're in a different place, like elongated tails and stuff like that. But there are professional letterers out there that have been doing this a long time that do it quick and fairly cheap. So,
Well, I did not know about it.
I would throw money their way if they're charging. I think it was like $35 a page or something like that, or I don't know. I don't remember what it was. I'd have to look at that again, but it's pretty cheap. It's like for a penciler without being an inker, it could be average page rate. If average page rate for a beginner is like 150, something like that, and the average page rate for a inker is, if they're a beginner, is about $100. But if you've got any experience, the average page rate, or if you're doing, say, like you're doing penciling and inking, then that's free enough, right? It just depends on how good you are and if you've got a name that helps draw people to the magazine. So. Closing down all my reference stuff except for, oh yeah, I'm pretty much done with that for now. I do have a bunch of John D. Semiconians that I just got not that long ago that I can flip over open for reference pretty much any time. I just need, the setup for the arm. But I think that's pretty much done, and then it's the background stuff, and it's how much of the background stuff to put in that background, and how much to fade off into shadow. Give you any ideas?
Well,
The banner.
what?
I'm gonna take the Gordox Pub identifier off for a minute because it's blocking his head, and you can see the whole picture that way. Yeah, see, I want to have like the bottom parts of that transport into here, maybe an open doorway over here, and he's grabbing onto that doorway, and she's coming down a ramp.
Okay.
We'll see if we can get to that, but if not, so far.
You got 9 minutes, man.
It looks like, well, I'm not going to do that tonight anyway. Like, this is it for the night. That's why I took the banner down pretty much, so that we could see the whole thing with the overlay. Yeah, so that we can see the entire thing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, once I get the same light source in her, keeping in mind that this is an interior light source. And then I just kind of want, like, you know how they had close-ups of the underneath of the Millennium Falcon when they were coming out of it, or when they landed on the asteroid, you know. There's other science fiction movies that do that too. They get really close up, so you're looking at a set, but it's made to be futuristic type machinery look. Futuristic type machinery look. I want to have him look like he's grabbing on something that matters.
Okay.
I'm really debating on whether it should be a metal belt or pouches.
Or what?
Or instead, like, it'll be a metal belt buckle, but pouches.
Oh, okay. I shouldn't hear what you said. It sounded like
Yeah,
pouch.
I'm just debating on whether or not it's like the bat belt or like the bat belt when Frank Miller drew them. You're gonna have to write that down because that private chat doesn't
Okay.
stay. It
Oh,
doesn't
well,
stay. So if you don't have it down and you don't remember it, I'm certainly not gonna remember it.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that's not, at least not according to Comic Con.
Well, look it up on the Google search. You know,
Well, I get that, but normally,
well, no, because comic bonds sometimes can be biased, and sometimes you won't have all full data. But generally, if you look it up on Google or one of the search engines, it'll be more extensive.
well, people have used it for different things, but nothing like what we'd want. And it's been used for several things. I
That's
guess.
the key. I haven't seen it at all, so
Well, I mean, there's fire protection products and
yeah, right.
security things, and whatever. There's no. I don't see anything that's comic book related necessarily. There is a gaming company which is a little iffy.
Well, we just have to make sure that it's written enough differently to not be confused for that product.
Right. But whatever. I mean, it's an idea.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so 4 minutes left before you turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Or you turn into a smashed pumpkin. Right. So we'll just call it here.
All right.
I'm not at a point where I can do anything without looking up reference to work on that arm. So I'll see if I can find something in the meantime.
Yep.
So, yep, thanks. Hopefully she feels better. Hopefully you feel better.
Tried.
Thank anybody that's watched for watching. Anybody that's liked up,
Like,
followed,
Well,
subscribe, thumbs up. We really appreciate it. We would still value feedback. So if you like what's going on in it, or think that you can add to the mayhem, then we'd be glad to see it. Anyway, good night. God bless and much love.
Peace.